In an increasingly hectic and complex world, we are often swept away by invisible temptations of consumption, things and experiences we sometimes don't truly need, yet they distract our souls and gradually drain our wallets. I used to be like that, living in the whirlwind of more is better, until one day I realized that happiness does not lie in owning more, but in the ease and awareness of what I already have. And so began my journey into mindful spending, a turning point. Mindful spending is not merely about saving money. It is a profound philosophy of life, an attitude lived with understanding, intention, and responsibility. I began learning to observe my spending habits slowly without rush, to recognize which expenses were truly necessary and which just cluttered my mind. It's a journey of living within limits that bring freedom and peace. One of the first steps on this path was learning to distinguish between want and need. Many times I purchased things driven by emotion, social pressure, or simply because an item was tempting on the shelf. But with mindfulness, I realize only those things that truly serve my life, help me grow, and maintain peace are worthy of keeping. I began building a budget based on real needs and the value each expense brought to my life. Every dollar spent became a commitment to caring for, respecting, and loving myself. It was no longer reckless shopping, but conscious, just right choices. Not too much, not too little. Along the way, I also discovered the power of simplicity in spending. From limiting unnecessary purchases to seeking durable, quality products instead of cheap, disposable items. This was not just about protecting my wallet, but also the environment and my mental well-being. Mindful spending helped me gradually escape the endless consumption cycle, making room for serenity, for what truly matters, time with loved ones, calm within my soul, and joy from simple things. Thanks to these small steps, I began to see the bigger picture of simple living, a life not bound by material things, but free to choose to live as I wish and to cherish every moment. The story of mindful spending is not just about money, but about awakening, letting go, and returning to oneself. As I continued this journey, I uncovered more secrets, keys to make mindful spending easier and deeper in daily life. Once aware of mindful spending's value, the next journey was turning philosophy into daily practical actions. Life waits for no one, and every spending choice reflects how we honor ourselves and our precious time. I learned that living simply within limits requires preparation, patience, and a clear plan. The first practice was carefully and consciously planning expenses. Each week, I reviewed my budget, noting necessities from groceries and bills to small costs like coffee or books. This helped me spot unnecessary spending habits and adjust in time. It was not strict deprivation, but balancing and prioritizing what truly matters. Planning also eased my money worries because I knew exactly how much I could spend without disrupting life. An essential habit was thinking before buying. I often asked myself, do I really need this? Will it improve my life or just satisfy a momentary feeling? This question acted like a brake, helping me avoid rash decisions, emotional buying, or chasing trends. Through it, I learned to control cravings and keep inner peace. I also focus on choosing quality over quantity. Instead of buying many cheap items, I prioritize durable, eco-friendly products that fit real needs. This not only saved money in the long run, but created deep satisfaction from using things truly valuable. A warm jacket, well-fitting shoes that last through seasons. These companions mean more than disposable goods. Furthermore, I learned to reuse and creatively repair rather than discard. Every cared-for item preserved or slightly altered brought joy and fulfillment equal to new purchases. It was also my way to protect the environment and live responsibly. Another key point was adjusting expectations and comparisons. Today's society pressures us to own new things and luxurious experiences, often trapping us in a never-ending consumption loop. I learned to value myself not by material wealth, but by inner peace and happiness. Simple living does not mean lack, but having enough in my own way. Finally, I realized the power of rewarding myself with experiences instead of things. A delicious meal, a park walk, a meaningful conversation, or a peaceful moment with tea became precious gifts for my soul. Instead of spending on frivolous items, I invested in what nurtured my spirit and strength. Every small strategy, every patient change transformed mindful spending from an abstract concept into my daily rhythm. It not only balanced my finances, but opened doors to a simple, fulfilling, and meaningful life. Feeling this deep change, the next journey was discovering how to maintain mindful spending habits amid life's challenges, avoiding temptations and pressures around me. The next chapter will share ways to sustain awareness, peace, and freedom in every choice. When mindful spending becomes part of life, the greatest challenge is not starting, but maintaining. Amid social pressures, relentless marketing temptations, and fast-paced living, how do we keep mindfulness and avoid being swept into the consumption whirl? That journey requires patience, self-awareness, and a little art in daily living. First, the key is creating a minimalistic and intentional living space. Our surroundings reflect our inner state. When the home is tidy and free from unnecessary clutter, we feel lighter and can focus on what truly matters. I learned that keeping a simple living space not only saves costs, but calms the mind, reducing distraction and distress. Next is regularly reassessing personal values and priorities. I constantly ask, what truly brings value to me now? Am I spending on unnecessary things? Through this, I adjust spending goals, drop outdated habits, and open to new choices. This keeps me balanced and avoids habitual or external pressure-driven consumption. The third key is cultivating patience and self-respect in every spending decision. I know each dollar is valuable and I deserve to use it wisely. When tempted to shop emotionally or relieve stress, I pause, breathe deeply, and ask if the purchase is truly necessary. This helps me stay mindful, avoid mistakes, and keep finances under control. Another important secret is accepting imperfection and learning to forgive myself. Sometimes I fail, buy unnecessarily, or overspend. But instead of blaming or giving up, I see these as valuable lessons, an essential part of growth. Self-forgiveness keeps me motivated and on track without overwhelming pressure. I also learned the power of building a positive support network. Sharing my mindful spending journey with friends and family brought encouragement, sincere advice, and invaluable companionship. Having like-minded people makes me feel less alone and more motivated to maintain habits and overcome difficulties and temptations. Finally, a vital secret is enjoying the journey, not just focusing on results. Simple living and mindful spending are not rushed destinations but ongoing processes. I learned to find joy in each small step, appreciate each moment I choose to live by my true values. This joy and awareness transformed mindful spending into a natural, gentle, and sustainable lifestyle. Through these secrets, mindful spending is no longer a duty or burden, but a source of inspiration to slow down life meaningfully and freely. I realize simple living doesn't mean deprivation, but fullness in spirit, financial autonomy, and completeness every day. And so from first steps to maintaining strategies, I completed my mindful spending journey, not just living within limits, but living fully, peacefully, and happily. The journey I share with you about mindful spending is not just about managing money, but a deep awakening about how we choose to live, to love, and to cherish every moment. Through each habit, each slow step, I found true freedom. Freedom from reckless consumption, pressures from material worries, and freedom to live a fuller life. Mindful spending is an art where every dollar is not just a means but a reflection of values and trust in oneself. When we deeply reflect on how we spend, we truly invest in inner peace and happiness. Simple living doesn't mean scarcity, but conscious, loving living. I sincerely want to tell you, you deserve to live in peace and abundance, not by owning more, but by letting go of what's unnecessary and valuing what truly matters. Allow yourself to slow down, to feel, to love, and to live authentically. Simple living and mindful spending are not distant or hard to achieve. They begin with small changes. Simple habits you can start today, thinking carefully before each purchase, prioritizing health and spirit, or spending time with loved ones rather than chasing material goods. Finally, I hope my story inspires you to live not just a simple life, but one full of meaning, peace, and inspiration. Remember, this journey isn't about how much you have, but how you live and how you love life. Thank you for taking the time to explore mindful spending and simple living with me. May each of your days be a gentle step, a deep breath, and a full experience of life. Don't forget to like and subscribe to the channel so you won't miss the upcoming exciting videos.